The government revamps the mortgage relief scheme. But what does this do for the current payers? Also, smoke engulfs pockets of Nassau. Driving in some cases almost impossible. What's being done? And then, some Cabbage Beach vendors surrender to police today. What's next for them? And ZNS Total Sports, the only station in Kansas City, Missouri, as Buddy Hield competes in the Big 12 Championships. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Every Day.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Keisha Adderley.
And I'm Charisma Robinson.
Topping the news tonight, a revamped mortgage relief plan is expected to be released soon, according to Prime Minister Perry Christie.
He told Parliament that this is welcome news for thousands of homeowners who have fallen behind on mortgage payments.
A new mortgage plan is being formulated by government after less than 10 persons were assisted under the initial plan, which was rolled out by government in 2012. Prime Minister the Right Honorable Perry Christie made the announcement at the end of his mid-year budget communication Monday in the House of Assembly, indicating that the government has held considerable discussions with the clearing banks on mortgage relief and an associated memorandum of understanding.
The required steps will now be taken to move forward with the legislation currently before the House of Assembly, as well as to introduce a new mortgage policy initiative, which together should set the framework for meaningful mortgage relief in the Bahamas. This would not preclude any of the clearing banks from pursuing on a unilateral basis their own mortgage relief initiatives.
Minister for Finance Michael Alquidas says the government has revamped the initiative and will release it shortly. He maintains the government promises on mortgage relief is not idle talk. He says initially they made an attempt but found the level of consumer debt was much more than anticipated, so they had to go back to the drawing board. Minister Alquidas could not give specifics on the numbers of distressed homeowners that they anticipated assisting, but said there are many Bahamians that are more than 90 days in arrears of their mortgages and in need of assistance.
It's significant, and it's a problem that continues, and it's coming out of the financial crisis. Debt levels had risen, consumer debt at very high levels, but it's in the thousands. All right, but so we have to do what we can do, even if it's incrementally, by beginning at a certain stage and then ramping it up.
For many, this plan can't be implemented soon enough. Scores have already lost their homes. Now some unemployed Bahamians, including workers laid off from Bahamar, whose only assistance through the National Insurance Unemployment Benefit has come to an end, are now in dire straits. CEO of the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employees Confederation, Edison Sumner, suggests there be a review of the economy first.
We've got to examine why it is that so many persons are at risk of losing their homes and other buildings. And the short answer is that the economy is not working as well as we would like, although we're seeing some signs based on the numbers we saw from the government that there may be some remedial assistance coming in through some relief. But we have to examine this. I'm not sure, without seeing all the full details of the mortgage relief plan, exactly what is included, how much money the government is intending to commit towards that, and how they intend to manage that.
Although it's expected soon, no confirmation yet on when the plan will be ready to roll out. Clint Watson, ZNS Network News.
Thanks so much, Clint. Government is also moving to phase out its system of check payments. Prime Minister Christie disclosed a major shift in function by his administration yesterday during his mid-year budget statement. Mr. Christie says the move is a part of his public sector reform initiative.
Presently, a large percentage of payments are made by direct deposit, specifically those made in respect of employee remuneration and payments to pensioners. The focus is now on eliminating check payments to vendors. We are currently on track to effect direct deposits for payments to vendors by the end of March. This will be facilitated through the Bank of the Bahamas. For small businesses, Mr. Speaker, this would eliminate the increasingly significant fees banks are now charging to negotiate checks drawn on another bank.
There's also an update tonight on Resolve Bahamas Limited. Resolve was formed 2 years ago to give the Bank of the Bahamas some fiscal breathing room while it took over $100 million in troubled loans. Our Janaea Noel Ferguson talked to the Minister of State for Finance about the progress so far.
State Minister for Finance Michael Halkitis giving a progress report on Resolve Bahamas. The company formed back in 2014 to take control of loans in default at the Bank of the Bahamas. Since that time, Halkitis said that the process to recoup more than $100 million worth of unserviced loans has been a continuous one expected to last about 10 years.
But to enable Resolve and its management to focus on collections, either through realizing the property, selling the property and realizing the assets, or assisting those persons, because a lot of it was commercial transaction, in getting back up into business so that they can service their loans.
Now, when Resolve Bahamas was launched to recoup the tens of millions of dollars, the Free National Movement took the government to task, claiming that the use of government voting power to prop up a failed leadership at the bank was unacceptable. F&M leader Dr. Hubert Minnis also stated at the time that Bahamian taxpayers should not be made to swallow a $100 million increase in public debt. Halkitis, however, said that Resolve Bahamas has had notable success.
It's ongoing. We have made some collections, and we're doing some restructuring, so it's ongoing. This is a long-term process in terms of you want to be able to restructure, give people every opportunity to succeed, and where they don't, to be able to get the maximum value for the asset.
Now, while there's been a lot of criticism about the creation of Resolve Bahamas, Halkitis assured that it is not a bailout and no one will get away from not paying those loans.
It's not a giveaway, not a bailout. Nobody's getting off scot-free. And so that continues. And if not at this debate, when we get into the main budget, we can give some update. But it's an ongoing process.
The government has also recently stepped in to assist CLECO policyholders with a $16 million payout after the company went into liquidation in 2009. Concerned Bahamians have questioned if the government will also step in to assist the dozens of city market workers still agitating for monies owed to them. When asked if the government plans to intervene, Halkitis explained that this was a different scenario from CLECO Bahamas.
The government, Prime Minister at the time, did encourage people to continue paying, and so we felt it was a commitment of this administration to continue and to bring some resolution to it. Right now, as far as I know, the city market matter is not on the radar.
Janaea Noel Ferguson, ZNES Network News.
Thanks so much, Janaea. The enrollment phase of government's RISE program, which is the conditional cash transfer initiative designed to raise Bahamians out of poverty, was officially launched yesterday. Carla Palmer reports on the project that's providing help to thousands of people.
Staff training in the use and administration of the Conditional Cash Transfer Program, CCT, coincided with the launch of the enrollment phase of the RISE program Monday. RISE, the acronym for Renewing, Inspiring, Sustaining and Empowering, is a mechanism by the government to lift Bahamians out of poverty. The first phase of CCT was first launched back in November 2014. Minister of Social Services and Community Development, the Honorable Melanie Griffin, is optimistic of the task ahead, confident that the program will revolutionize the way business is conducted in the ministry she leads.
Ultimately, the reform will ensure that as an agency we are more responsive, efficient, and effective in meeting the needs of those we serve. Two major existing programs, our food and uniform assistance programs, will be consolidated into RISE. RISE will afford its beneficiaries a cash grant, which will give them the flexibility to manage their funds on the optimal benefit of their household.
According to Minister Griffin, there are 3 modules to the RISE program: targeting, which includes registration, enrollment, and payment.
In June 2015, the pilot of RISE commenced at the Wolf Road Center with recipients of the Food Assistance Program. To date, over 700 individuals at this center have been administered the proxy means test. We also introduced RISE to North Andros in September, and to date have administered the proxy means test to over 100 households.
Also significant is the introduction of the RISE Family Guide.
This document will guide the RISE families as to their responsibilities to the program.
As a national program, RISE will be administered in all of the family islands. Carla Palmer, ZNS Network News.